feeling of low energy, tiredness, fatigue, no motivation, lack of discipline is more prevalent than ever in society right now. And it's not just through middle-aged people and older people, but also with young people as well. This is seemingly an issue, but also seemingly a massive problem for us. If you feel like you have no energy all the time, you're not motivated, you're not disciplined, you're not hitting your goals daily that makes you feel fulfilled, you're probably not carrying out your responsibilities every day, and you're probably not meeting expectations for your loved ones. And in a society more and more that young people are feeling more disengaged, no motivation, this is also a problem for us. The young people are the next innovators of life. If they feel disengaged, lost, no energy all the time, no motivation, no discipline, and for the middle-aged and older ones, we are screwed. Obviously, because we need these people to look after us when we get older. Nevertheless, lack of energy seems to be a common occurrence and a common question I get on a daily basis. So today, I'm going to discuss 3 things that may be potentially the cause of your lack of energy, and more importantly, how to potentially fix it. And before we start, please consider liking and subscribing and leaving a comment below, because it really does help me. Now, let's get to it. Many things can make you fatigued, sluggish, and the feeling of no energy all the time. Here are a few of those common things. Lack of sleep, changes in routine, a newborn in the house, going through a bereavement, recent pregnancy, depression, a lack of nutrition, being overworked, too much exercise, too little exercise. All these many factors combined, we need to weather through and figure out which one you are and how we could potentially solve it. Now, I'm not a therapist, so I can't help with your depression. I'm not a midwife, so I can't help with your pregnancy. I'm just with a camera that's going to give you or drive home some ideas that you may be feeling lost in and you may have not thought of that could potentially help your energy. The first most common one, and you're going to predict what I'm going to say here, and you're going to do this when I do say it as well and go, obviously, but it's going to be sleep. And I can't emphasize how important sleep is. Every hour you sleep, your hormone levels are rebalancing, you're recovering. Your energy levels obviously are stationary, and it's helping you to be able to, when you wake up the next day with adequate, sufficient sleep, be able to perform the tasks you need to be able to do. That's obvious, everyone knows that. But for guys, after a certain amount of hour of sleep, and for women, your testosterone levels do start to amp up, you're free testosterone. And testosterone is a major thing which we'll get into hormonally to give you a lot of the sort of feeling of motivation and energy levels. Now, I am not naive on the matter of sleep. For someone with kids or a very, very busy, hectic schedule like work, like maybe night shifts, I understand that sleep is not easy to get. And I'm not going to stand here and preach you like some sort of coach to say you need to be drilling home 8 to 10 hours sleep a night. That's easy to say for someone that's single, maybe lives with mummy and daddy and doesn't really have many responsibilities. And I know this from having 2 kids, sleep is next to impossible. So the reason I bring up the sleep is to make you aware of how important it is. However, if you're someone that cannot get sleep or extra sleep, maybe these next 2 points I'm going to mention will help solve that. What I would say for the people that are not getting enough sleep and can get enough sleep is really try to prioritize this. I promise you, even increasing it by an hour or 2 a night will make a big difference. If you're someone that only sleeps 4 hours a night and stays up to 2, 3 in the morning, try to make that conscious decision every so often for maybe a week or 2, take an hour into your sleep. So add an extra hour in, go to bed an hour earlier, and then another hour earlier, and start to reprogram yourself into the point where you get into 7 to 8 hours. And I promise you, you should be firing on all cylinders after that. The second point is hormonal imbalances. For men, a lack of testosterone can seriously affect your mood, motivation, energy in dramatic ways. Not only will it encourage weight gain, lack of muscle tissue, but it really does play a massive role in energy. In fact, a lot of the guys that take synthetic testosterone or steroids, one of the main things that they relay back is the feeling of having tremendous amounts of motivation and energy. It literally gets them up, figuratively as well. For women, it's a little bit harder, obviously more dominant. Estrogen will cause a lot more sluggish levels. Now, testosterone's easy said than done. You can go get checks done with your doctor. If it's in England over here, it's free, but there are sites that it's not too expensive that you can get levels done and check what your test levels are sitting and how to reshape that back up. If you're someone that's really low, maybe you need HRT, or maybe you're someone that just needs to make some changes to their lifestyle. Now, for an increase of testosterone, these changes can be the following, which again, you might roll your eyes and say, that's obvious, but I'm gonna drill them home more. Exercise, specifically resistance training. And I really do mean this. Demanding resistance training, big lifts like compound lifts that really do tap your central nervous system, will after a while amp up your testosterone. Eating foods with more higher levels of protein and higher amino acid chains will also do the same thing. With natural fats like eggs and avocados and peanut butter, also great things for cholesterol that help deliver the transfer of free testosterone around the body. More sleep, like we mentioned, will also amp up testosterone. And also other silly things like adapting more meal rule responsibilities in the household. Now, I'm going to have a documentary style video coming very soon on testosterone levels, but you'll be amazed of the actual things you can do to raise your testosterone very naturally. Of course, there's tons of supplements out there as well, like ashwagandha and 123ZA. Really, these I don't think really make much of a difference. I've tried them before. You can try them yourself, but realistically, it's the life changes that's going to make the difference. The third one is a vitamin deficiency, specifically that in B12. Now, B12 doesn't directly give you an energy boost, but what it does is help convert the food molecules into energy. Vitamins like B12 and stuff are not things you get naturally from foods. Usually most people are deficient in these things and they tend to have to supplement that in somewhere. Of course, what I would suggest is when you're trying all these different things, sleep should be something that you should be trying to focus on from the get-go, and of course exercise and good eating. But if you're going to change these sort of changes to see what works, I would suggest trying to change something one at a time. So if you think you're potentially B deficient, you could try implementing that supplement for say 3-4 weeks. See how the energy levels feel. I've recently implemented B12 into my my stack for nutrients, and I have noticed actually a bit of an energy increase. In terms of the exercise, obviously too little will really affect your ability to generate energy. Also what it does is it affects on your sleep. I find sometimes if you can't sleep at night, usually it's because you haven't extinguished enough energy out of yourself. It's kind of like having a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old toddler, right? If they don't sleep well at night, the best thing to do is whip them and get them to run around laps around the house. I guarantee you, once they're sweating before bedtime, they'll sleep. Same thing for us. We need to make sure that we have extinguished more or less all our fuel out of us. And if you're eating in a surplus of calories a day, that's an excess of energy. It's an excess of energy access that we have that we're not using. Now, too much exercise can have the same effect. If you're absolutely killing yourself in the gym, or you're doing mad runs outside every night, mad resistance, that can really have an effect on your energy levels, and that's quite obvious. Now, I'm also going to give you a bonus fourth one. I see the confusion around this quite a lot, and I see coaches, especially locally, make videos about how to fix energy, and their go-to word's always protein for some reason. I think a coach usually does that. Like if you say to a coach, I'm riddled with cancer, I've got 6 months left to live, he'll say, you sure you get enough protein? I need to put this one to bed. Protein is really an inefficient energy source. The most efficient energy sources we all know is carbohydrates. Carbohydrates will convert the glucose in your body to blood sugar, thus giving you energy. So usually for people I find with lack of energy, what I would suggest is A, are you eating enough carbohydrates? B, if you are riddling your body with fast digesting high glycemic carbohydrates, that's probably your issue. That can cause crashes throughout the day. What I would suggest is implement a slow digestive carb somewhere. For example, in the morning, I would take a huge amount of porridge or oats. That is slow release energy. So throughout the day, I usually do have a steady energy line. Now, of course, when it gets to 7 o'clock when I'm putting kids to bed, my energy level starts to go down, but I've implemented different carbohydrates throughout the day as well, and before the kids go to bed to help me sort of get past that before training. Carbohydrates is one of the most important nutrients for energy. And I would suggest for a lot of people, this could be their issue. You could be consuming too much fast digesting carbohydrates, and it could be messing with the energy levels, causing that 1 to 2 o'clock afternoon dip. So make sure in the morning you're getting some form of slow digestive carbs. Try to eliminate out the fast blood spiking carbohydrates. If you are going to have any fast digesting carbohydrates like your whitey foods like white rice and white potato and sugary stuff, try to make sure you've got some sort of protein nutrient or fat macronutrients in with that to slow the release of blood sugar. Overall conclusion, make sure you're drilling home sleep each night, at least 7+ hours. For the people that cannot get sleep and do have kids or busy schedules, the next protocol for you would be then to ensure the hormone levels are playing ball. If you feel your testosterone levels are at a sufficient amount, then you need to start implementing more healthy routines. Daily exercise to some degree, focus on your nutrition as well, make sure in your week you're getting natural fats from your eggs and your avocados, maybe some red meat. Make sure you're getting high profiles of amino acids and proteins. Check up your deficiency levels as well. Try maybe B12, B6, see how they metabolize through the energy, and maybe that might help you. And make sure finally, carbohydrates are the main source used for energy. And if you liked the video, please do like and subscribe. It does help me out quite a bit, and I'm a bit of a subscriber whore if you really want to know. Until the next time, I'll see you then.